Hey, this is a review of the Lumos Ultra E-Bike helmet. However, this is not the first helmet I was sent to review. This shattered one was, and it saved my life. Let me tell you about it. I'm Robert. I am a software designer and a commuter cyclist. I live in Texas where it gets pretty hot, and I wear glasses, which will come up in this review a little bit. Bottom line up front, this is a great helmet. It's especially great if you ride an electric bike and if you ride your bike a lot, like as a commuter or a delivery cyclist. It's not the best option if you wear glasses or sunglasses that, like mine, come to a straight point out and don't wrap around your face. I strongly recommend Lumos products. They have different light up helmets, smart helmets, connected flashing lights. These illuminated helmets make you safer right out of the box, and they grant fancy car-like features like turn signals and brake lights. So why make a helmet specifically for e-bikes? E-bikes, electric bikes, are different in a few ways. They travel at higher speeds. Your eyes could use better protection because you're traveling faster. And especially in Texas, less sweat because the bike is doing some of the work for you. Out of the box, the packaging design for this is super fun and informative. It makes it feel really special. The Lumos Remote Light does let you connect via Bluetooth to the helmet and have turn signals. It straps around the handlebars to your bike. By default, when you turn it on, it's got a flashing mode for both front and rear lights. And when you press the button once, it will cycle through the 3 different presets. If you want to get really fancy with it, you can connect it to the app and configure the 3 different light settings as you like. It comes with a USB to USB-C charger for the helmet. The mode I keep this on is rapid flashing, and I go well over a month, several months. I actually don't know how long it was. This battery has lasted so long on that flashing setting. Sizing is pretty easy. There is a twist knob on the back to fit to your head. I will say the straps around the neck on both of the Lumos helmets I have tend to feel like the strap is going further forward on my face than I'd like it, and so that might take some adjusting for you as well. All things considered, this is a pretty stylish model, and if you're a big sci-fi buff, how about this eye shield, really Tron style. This, compared to Lumos helmets without the extra e-bike protection or the eye shield, is noticeably heavier a little bit, but it never resulted in neck fatigue or anything like that after a long ride. It's also really well ventilated all the way around, which, if you're riding in Texas, is a must. One of the great things about the Ultra E-Bike in particular, for turn signals, you have flashers in the front as well. Compared to the prior model I have, which is the Lumos Ultra, you have turn signals, but they're only in the back. So if you're trying to communicate with someone in front of you, then you might as well still be hand signaling. This is a front and back blinker system, so it replaces the need for you to do hand signals and keep your hands on the handlebars. When you turn on a turn signal, it will play a sound in the helmet, which is great, so it lets you know that it's on. The default sound is fine, it's a beep. You can change the sound in the app to a sound that is more like a car blinker, which is a great touch. I wish that sound was louder if I'm being nitpicky, because I like that sound, but it's too quiet to hear when you're cruising. One of the nice things about the blinkers is they turn off after a few seconds. So you have one less time that you're removing your hand from the handlebars. You can just let it turn off, kind of like a lane change blinker in a car. To configure these lights and other settings, Lumos has an app you can connect to the helmet via Bluetooth. I should stress, and this is my favorite part about the app, you do not have to use it. Out of the box, the helmet has 3 very reasonable, varied flashing styles. You can open the app to customize that and the sound effects and other lighting things and pair it with other Lumos devices, which is great. But my favorite products do not require to use an app, and this is one of them. It is the most noticeable part of this helmet, so let's talk about that eye shield, or the Lumos Vision Pro. One of the big bummers of having the eye shield is it prevents you from being able to have a visor for the sun, which, again, here in Texas or anywhere where the sun is really bright, I noticed that immediately when I switched between my helmet with a visor and the Ultra E-Bike. Riding on hot days, I kind of expected this eye shield to get really foggy and drippy with sweat. On the hottest days, I have noticed that, but it's really not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I've been using this for about 6 months, and it's probably hard to tell, but it has got a few scuffs. It's mostly from where my glasses on the corners have made contact with it, sliding up and down. There's some also on the top corner, and you know, if you just set it down somewhere too hard, you're going to get a scuff. And that will affect your vision while the visor's down. So that's something to be aware of. You'll want to be a bit protective with the visor. The good news is, on the newer models of this, you can remove the visor. So worst case, you have a totally safe, functional helmet if your visor gets scraped up. So as an eye shield, how does it work? I've already got glasses and I've been riding with these for a long time, which help a little bit with dust or debris or wind in the eyes. I'd say this feels like it's a further 50% less wind and debris in my eyes, most noticeable on a cold day. So it's not perfect, it's not a pair of goggles or anything, but it noticeably does cut down on dust and debris. You might notice it more if you don't wear glasses. It might feel like an 80 or 90% reduction in the dust and wind that you get in your eyes. Again, with the glasses, it is a little distracting feeling your glasses touch the inside of the visor. One of the downsides of riding with the visor at night, if you've got glasses, is you can get some reflection, double reflection going on between your glasses reflecting on the inside of the visor and then back into your eyes, which can be a bit distracting. On a cold or on a humid night, I have noticed that the eye shield fogs up a fair bit, and sometimes I'll have to lift it up and let it kind of ventilate itself before I put it back down. It hasn't been enough to where I'd call it like a safety problem, but it does fog up if you're exerting yourself. This feels like a silly thing to talk about as a separate feature, but this strap clip is amazing. It is magnetic. It is the only strap clip I've ever seen that you can reliably put together on your chin with one hand. It takes some practice to get it, but ever since I got used to it, there's really no going back. That said, the strap itself, I cannot really get this chin strap to stay perfectly tight longer than one ride. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I do have to tighten this even with the strap. It's got a little sliding rubber bit to keep it secure. Even with putting this in place, I feel like the chin strap gets loose after every ride or two, so that's something you'll want to be aware of. So you're supposed to replace your helmet every 3 to 5 years. The foam deteriorates, and as a safety device, it's just safest to ride with a helmet that's not old. But this has electronics in it, like a battery, so I had sustainability questions. I spoke to Lumos about them, and they are clearly thinking about this. In the newest model of the Ultra E-Bike helmet, the visor is replaceable, so if for some reason it scrapes unrelated to an accident, you can replace that, or just take it off and keep using it as a normal helmet. The battery and such are not removable, but they have a new model of helmet where the lighting on the back is one of their Firefly bicycle lights, and so you are able to keep that Firefly after several years of using the helmet that it's nested within, and so you're not generating new electronic waste if you get that model. However, in this helmet, the Ultra E-Bike, the electronics are in there to stay. So again, this was my first Lumos review helmet I was sent. I unboxed it, and I kid you not, on its maiden voyage is when I got into the worst bike crash that I've ever been in. A car was parked in the bike lane, and I rounded that corner pretty fast. I hit the brakes, I flipped over the front of my bike, and I hit the pavement head first. So first off, this helmet, but probably any helmet, saved my life. You should definitely wear a helmet. Now this particular one, you can see a bit, the front is all scuffed up, which means the impact happened there and it was right on my face. You can see the light is cracked, and then the helmet itself is dented a little bit. I suspect that the damage to my face would have been worse if it weren't for the eye shield. I didn't plan to test this helmet in a wreck. When I first wrote to Lumos about the crash and just sent this picture, they thought that it was damaged in shipping, but no, it was street tested by me. They were courteous enough to send a different model to review. This one is no longer safe to use, but it gets a special place on my wall for saving my skull. I mentioned I have an earlier model of a Lumos helmet. This is the Lumos Ultra, which has the lights in front, or the single light in front, and then the turn signals in back. There are no front turn signals, which I do miss on this one, but it's a little bit lighter because it doesn't have the eye shield, and you can see the sun wear on this, but I also got the sun visor, which is really great, again, in the Texas heat. If I had to choose between using a sun visor or the eye shield, for where I live, and since I already wear glasses, I would probably go with a Lumos Ultra with a sun visor. But if you're in one of those circumstances I talked about earlier, you frequently commute or ride an e-bike for deliveries, I think the eye shield is probably the way to go. Full disclosure, I was sent this helmet to review on the house if I post the review, but the contents of my review are not reviewed or approved by Lumos. Overall, I love what Lumos is doing. They are creating helmets and accessories that make it safer, but also just more convenient to ride a bike. The more that riding a bike is as convenient and safe as riding a car, the more people are going to feel comfortable cycling, and I think that's great for everyone involved. Thanks so much for your time, and enjoy the road.